What's up everyone, and welcome to the Glide Guide, a categorized 30-day review series on foil gear. In this episode, I'll be riding and reviewing the 25 and 30 liter North Vert, the SF830 front foil paired with the 72 Sonar carbon fiber mast, 70 centimeter fuselage, and the S185 tail. Just for reference, I am 145 pounds, 5'8", and mostly surfing in a 4.3 and 3.2 wetsuit. All right, and welcome to the first episode of the Glide Guide. And my first board setup, whole situation, North foils. So I've actually been super excited about trying the North stuff with their most recent add to their team, Alex Hayes, which is just one of the best surf foilers in my opinion out there right now. He's ridden a lot of stuff, and the fact that he landed on North tells me something. So first, the board itself, I've been dying to ride a template like this. The grip feels really nice. This is a 30 liter. It also comes in a 25, and I wanted to go with the 30 just because the way that this outline kind of is. I am so used to riding the mid-length boards right now, so I wanted something not too small where it was tough for me to paddle. This outline looks really cool. Very excited about it. And now for the wing. So this is a SF830. This is a 9 aspect ratio. It's a little bit of a shorter wingspan than I have been using lately. So I'm hoping for some really surfy feels. It looks really put together. They make it really dummy proof, instruction wise, like right on the foils. I love it how they put the style bolts that you should put right underneath. It's got a 72 mast. I haven't ridden anything smaller than a 75 in a really long time. And honestly, like the beach breaks in New Jersey, the 72 will be nice. Hoping that it'll get up on foil a little fast. It's got a 700 fuselage. It's a little longer than what I normally use, but I'm interested in giving it a go. Again, with the smaller package of the mast itself and the wingspan, I think this could be a really cool combo. And the tail, this is a surfy tail. It looks really cool. It seems like it's gonna hold and pump really well. A lot of pivot, which is something that I really like. So yeah, give it a go. Pitch stability. I want to start this review by talking about pitch stability because in my opinion, it's the foundation for how a foil feels, and it influences every category that comes after. Now, I've been riding this 830 square centimeter wing with a 9 aspect ratio, which puts it on the smaller and slower side compared to most of the foils I've used. What really surprises me was how subtle the engagement was with this system. I'm using a 70 centimeter fuselage, and that combo gave me a really easy, controlled pop-up when paddling into waves. Right away, I felt solid front foot to back foot balance. You'll probably hear me say floaty a lot in these reviews, and here's what I'm talking about. A floaty foil makes it easy to stay at a consistent height on the mast. In this case, the system gave me that feel immediately. It was super manageable and let me hold the foil right in the sweet spot consistently. What stood out most was how neutral it felt. I could stand tall over the foil without needing to lean too far back or forward, and still have total control. In turns, a bit of back foot pressure or front foot input would gently shift the angle of attack, without any twitchy behavior. It made the foil feel very intuitive, very predictable. Pump. Even though this is a smaller wing, I was really impressed with how much low end it had, especially when I was grave digging or pumping through turbulent water. Thanks to the pitch stability I mentioned earlier, I found myself pumping less overall. I could use subtle shifts in back foot and front foot pressure to sort of glide out of each pump. which helped me go way longer than I expected. Little taps and staying high on the mast made all the difference. Now, pump is also where flaws tend to show up, especially in connection points. But even using just a standard carbon mast, everything felt super solid. No flex, no weird feedback, just a clean, direct transfer of energy. The cadence of the pump was on the slower side, which I actually liked because it took less effort to maintain. That slower cadence also let me approach oncoming waves with more control, setting up for a tighter, more deliberate turn. And since this wing has less span, I didn't feel off balance if my body weight shifted to one side while pumping. Add in the surf-style tail wing, and it really helped me stay high on the mast for longer without dropping out. Glide. I want to circle back to the size of the wing and how it compares to other wings in the 830 square centimeter range. Being part of a surf foil series, I'd almost call this wing a mid to high aspect, but really it leans more toward mid aspect because of the foil's profile. Now, when I normally think about glide, I associate that with wider span wings that let you cover more ground effortlessly. This wing sits right around 865 milliliters in width. And honestly, I didn't expect much in terms of glide. But again, to my surprise, it delivered. It's not a fast wing by any means, but what it does really well is controlled, stable glide. Coming out of turns or even turbulent sections, the wing held its line and kept moving without stalling. Pumping back out felt smooth and really enjoyable. It had that balanced feel where you're not fighting the foil, you're working with it. Maneuver. This was really a standout for me. Tip-out turns were no problem and actually felt encouraged. Even when hitting whitewater, everything stayed super controlled, with very little turbulence or shake coming through the setup. I'll admit, I was a little nervous riding a shorter mast, 72 centimeters, since my usual is 75. It's not a huge difference, but sometimes that few centimeters can change how connected you feel. But to be honest, there were moments I didn't even realize my wingtips had breached until I looked back at the footage. That's how smooth and forgiving it felt. While sharp turns felt really locked in and controlled, the rail-to-rail response on smaller, quicker movements was effortless. The combo of the narrower wingspan and the compact board dimensions made this whole setup feel super surfy. If I were to compare it to a surfboard, it felt more like a twin fin fish, loose, playful, but still able to hold a line when you wanted it to. Speed range. The 830 had an amazing low end for both pumping and glide, but when it was going down the face of some bigger waves, I definitely felt like I could have used a smaller foil. As a surf foil, I actually prefer something a little slower. It lets me stay on the wave longer and cover more ground more technically. Usually, I need to run a tail shim to hit that perfect low-end speed without stalling. But with this setup, straight out of the box and no shim, it already felt dialed. That said, on steeper sections, I did have the speed check a few times, just to avoid outrunning the wave or losing control. So if you're planning to tow and not pump back out, I'd say go smaller. A more compact foil will handle speed better and keep you locked in without needing to bleed off energy. Board. I started out with the 4.5 at 30 liters, but by day 4 of the 30-day run, I realized I could comfortably ride the 4.2 at just 25 liters. Even with such low volume, the design of the board is really clever. It's 4.2 long, 18 inches wide, and just 2.5 thick, but it paddles way bigger than you'd expect. Yet once you're on foil, it feels compact and responsive. The wide point is pushed forward, and there's a slight single concave on the bottom, which adds noticeable stability both when paddling and popping up. The deck pad is also super well thought out, especially for duck diving or when you're dealing with slippery gloves in colder conditions. The board has very low rocker, with just a tip of flip in the nose for better paddling, so it never really feels like a 4.2. On the 4.5, I had my mast set a little further forward, but on the 4.2, I ended up running it at negative 2.5. That setup let me really use the wider tail and get more angle going into waves. The flat bottom helps with smooth touchdowns and gives a really clean, stable engagement when lifting onto foil. I'm not someone who rides with a super offset stance, but this board gave me enough room for that little offset, which helped my direction changes and gave me a bit more forgiveness if my foot placement was off. Assembly. A few things I really have to give North credit for is the attention to detail in both R&D and construction. They definitely didn't miss the mark there. And just as importantly, they didn't drop the ball when it comes to ease of assembly either. It's clear they put some thought into avoiding warranty headaches and customer service calls, because they made this setup really intuitive to put together. Everything is M8, and each M8 screw is clearly labeled for its specific component. So assembly is a total no-brainer, even if it's your first time. One detail I really appreciated was the suggested mast placement chart based on rider weight in kilograms. On the 4.5, it was a little off for me, but the 4.2, it was pretty spot on. Now, I'm a little spoiled because I don't have to disassemble my board from the mast to fit in my van, but for anyone who does, the Dropbox track mounting system is a win. You can just loosen the M8 bolts and slide them right to the end of the track. Super quick for breakdown and setup. Swapping wings is also super easy. The front and tail wing attach to the fuselage in a way that makes quick changes painless. You don't even need to take apart the whole system. One quick heads up though, when you're assembling, make sure to attach your tail wing to your fuse first. It attaches in the opposite direction compared to the rest of the system, and that'll save you some time and confusion. Final thoughts. If you're looking for a surfier feel with excellent low end and the ability to carve without hesitation, the SF foils and Vert board combo might be exactly what you're after. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I had a blast riding it. It's rare for me to jump on new gear and immediately feel at home, but this setup made it easy. I was quickly linking tighter turns and getting more critical with my position. That said, I actually think I could have gone one size smaller in the SF line. The low end on the foil is just so good. It was almost hard to get it to drop out. Now, would I recommend this setup to a first-time foiler? Yes and no. Yes to the wing, just size up a bit. The larger size slows things down and gives you more stability, which is key when you're learning. But the Vert board, that's a no for beginners. Is it doable? Sure, but it's not ideal. North has better entry-level options, like the Swell or the new MIDI, which is their mid-length board. The Vert is much more performance-focused. It's designed to prioritize turning and foil control over ease of paddling and initial stability. So if you're ready to push your riding and want a setup that can keep up, this combo delivers. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of The Glide Guide. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. This was such a treat to check out this North gear. So fun, so surfy, great low end, 100% fun. I have a bunch more on the way as far as the glide guides, working with some great brands that we carry at the shop, GreenHat Kiteboarding. And yeah, if you dig this episode, please like, subscribe, comment if you have questions, and you can check us out at www.greenhatkiteboarding.com. We got all of this North gear in stock, along with tons of other brands. Until next time, hope you get on foil, and have a great day.